in Christ, grace and peace to you from God our Father and from our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. I was an active parish pastor for 12 years. And in that time in the parish, I baptized a ton of people, and that was always a blessing. It's one of the parts of the job that every pastor loves. I don't know any pastor that complains about baptisms. We love it, it's fun. You got usually the little baby. You walk around, everybody's got smiles. The baby sometimes does, or it cries, and that's great too, because it's funny. Just no matter what, baptisms are wonderful. But every time I would do a baptism, especially an adult baptism, which we had a few, or even like a younger adult, I always wanted, not so much with babies, but with the adults, I always wanted it to be a little bit more, I don't know, dangerous. There's something about it. I wanted it to be a little bit more risky. I wanted there to be more stakes involved. So instead of just pouring the water over the adult's head or just sprinkling them with a couple of drops, I don't know, I wanted to go to a pool like our Baptist friends do and just dive in or do some kind of cannonball baptism. I'm not something like that, but even that wouldn't feel quite enough. So that maybe we could go down to the river, go down to the Mississippi River. Go there in the spring when you got a good current. Something that you got to put a rope around you, otherwise you're going to get taken away. But even that doesn't quite do it yet. There's something. It's got to be bigger. It's got to be more. I want to go down to Florida for the next time I do an adult baptism during a hurricane. That's when you get those waves that are like 12 feet high and they come crashing down on you, and every single time you're just going to be swept out into the ocean. I want it to be dangerous because baptism is about death. I mean, at the heart of it, what's happening in baptism is death. There's a violence when we baptize. Baptism is about drowning. It's about being submerged into the water and dying there. We don't talk about that very much. It's not in our promotional materials, but that's what we're doing. We are putting each other to death. Imagine, we're going to change subjects here. We'll get back to that. Imagine for a second a spoon. Go into your kitchen in your head and grab a soup spoon or an ice cream spoon. And just fair warning, this next part's disgusting. But it's all in service of the gospel, so it's okay. So imagine you grab that spoon and you go down the street here just a little bit, and there's that elementary school, and find a 7-year-old first grader, maybe a half hour after lunch, looking a little green. Wait a few seconds, let him empty the contents of his stomach onto the floor. And take that spoon, and again, this is going to get gross, but take that spoon and just let it soak into the carpet a little bit, but then swirl it around into that 7-year-old throw-up. Then take that spoon, get back in your car, wait till August, because it should be a nice hot day, 95 degrees, drive down Highway 19 towards Red Wing until you find the first roadkill you see. So gross. Anyway, find that first roadkill, nice big deer, bloated from a few days out there, and take that spoon and put it into that roadkill and just leave it there overnight with the flies and the birds. Come back the next afternoon, same time of day, nice and hot. Take that spoon, maybe grab a plastic bag at this point, put it in the plastic bag, and keep going to Red Wing. And in Red Wing, I'm sure you have this here too, but I just know where it is in Red Wing. There's a nice sewage treatment plant. And go into that sewage treatment plant, talk nicely to the people. I'm sure they'd let you do this. Go in, they've got one of those big vats, and it's just swirling with raw sewage. So take that spoon and just dip it in there so it gets nice and covered in raw sewage. At this point, you probably want some kind of industrial glove as well. So then take that spoon, put it into the plastic bag, take it home, wash your hands really well, and put it on your counter. And then go into your freezer and get some ice cream. I would recommend Rocky Road, I always like that, or maybe some salted caramel, and get yourself a nice big dish of it, some whipped cream on top. Are you going to grab the spoon? No. Nobody. Unless there's something wrong with you, none of you are going to grab that spoon. Now imagine you take that spoon and you wash it. You wash it pretty well. You take the scrubber, you wash it on both sides, you let it dry. Would you use the spoon then? Now, there might be some of you that will. I mean, there are some people with a higher tolerance for that kind of thing. There is no way I'm using that spoon. You can put that spoon in the washing machine, and you can have 6, 7, 8, a dozen cycles. I am never, ever going to use that spoon. Ever. There is no situation. I will use my fingers before I use that spoon. The only thing we can possibly do with that spoon is throw it away. That's the only option. Brings us back to baptism. Baptism is us putting ourselves to death. It is throwing ourselves away because we are marked. As that spoon is marked with filth and vomit and throw up and sewage, we are marked with sin. And it is this terminal disease. It has gotten into us in some kind of fundamental way, and a little scrubbing is not going to help it. A little fix-up, a little tweak here and there is going to do nothing to touch the problem. The only thing we can do is toss it. That's baptism. Baptism is death. Which is what makes the gospel so crazy today. Because we have Jesus being baptized. We have the one who is perfect, the one who is without sin, the only one ever who has not needed to die. To die in baptism, to be submerged into those waters. And that, if you're wondering what happens when the heavens are torn apart, the translation doesn't do it justice. It's not that they were open, they were ripped open. They were torn to pieces. And it's because, in some fundamental way, things are going strangely wrong. The one who is perfect is dying in the waters of baptism. It is just as absurd and weird and outrageous as Jesus dying on the cross a few years later. As Jesus, who is perfect, who is without sin, who has done nothing wrong, who is crucified. It is just as bizarre. Now, the good news, why we gather here still today, is that's not the end of the story. The baptism, the waters, the submersion, the drowning, and the cross are not the end of these stories. If they were, then we'd be done. We'd just go and sit in a dark room and just wait to die, because why else would you want to do anything? There'd be no hope. But they're not the end of the story. Easter Sunday is the end of the story. It's Jesus raising up, and so too in baptism. Yes, we put ourselves to death, but then there is this new life. There's a story later on in Matthew where Peter's walking across the water, and then he's looking at Jesus, and he's fine, and he looks down at his feet, and he just plummets into the water. And Jesus reaches down, and he grabs Peter by the arm, and he picks him up, and he says, "I've got you, Peter." It's the same in baptism. In baptism, you are submerged. That old sinner within you, that old Adam, that old Eve, that old brokenness that is so stained with sin, the only thing you can do is just toss it out. That whole thing is just made brand new. You become a new spoon. You become this brand new creation. Jesus picks you up by the armpits and says, "This one is mine. This one belongs to me. You are a beloved child of God. God's got you, and He's never going to let you go." That's the promise of baptism. It's death, and it's this new life. So dear friends in Christ, it is the baptism of Jesus Sunday, so remember your baptism. As you go and have breakfast downstairs, remember you're baptized. As you go home and as you sit down and watch the football game, remember you're baptized. Later on, as you're taking a shower and the water is streaming down your face, remember you are baptized. As you take a nice cold glass of water that quenches your thirst, remember you're baptized. As you brush your teeth before going to bed, remember you're baptized. Tomorrow morning when you get up and have your breakfast, remember you're baptized. When you go out into the world to do whatever it is that you do, remember that you're baptized. As you're having lunch, remember that you're baptized. When you come home and you see your kids or your spouse or your parents or your grandma for the first time at the end of the day, remember you're baptized. As you take a nice cold breath of that winter air, remember you are baptized. Every time your heart thumps in your chest, remember you're baptized. You have been claimed as a child of God. You've been marked by the cross of Christ. You've been sealed by the Holy Spirit forever. That's huge. Remember it. Every day, every moment your heart beats, remember it, because it makes all the difference in the world. Amen.